Hi, this is Taki here. Today I'm going to talk about how to make a landscape in Rhino as an architectural student. First of all, the concept is always more important than the software. Before opening Rhino, you'd better let yourself know what your big picture is by sketching and making annotations. Then we need to realize that we architectural students cannot do as well as landscape students. So it's better for us to focus more on what kind of space needs to be here in this green area and how can we show our building through those landscape. This is an affordable housing project I did at Berkeley. We are learning how to design a courtyard at this stage. I'm going to use the opportunity to record how I quickly handle the landscape in Rhino. From this draft, we can see that our building is organized in the hive shape. So we adopted the hexagon as our basic landscape element in the plan. Before I introduce landscape design, I would like to talk about a tool in Rhino. If you use some commands frequently, you can create your own shortcut tool panel by mouse scroll wheel. For example, when you press the wheel, there will be a pop-up window. Then you can drag it to the side and add the tools you use often through Control. Of course, you can also use the shift to move them out. Then when you need to use these tools, just press wheel and they will appear. Basically, I draw this line on plan first and then turn it into a 3D model. The main reason is that after all the design is done in the plan, there's no bug in the generated surface. This also ensures that your extruded meshing is aligned with the z-axis. Add a clipping plane to see what happens on the first floor. Then set your boundary through the polyline, make it smaller with gumbo. Then use the set point to move them to the same plane. Landscaping in everyday life doesn't usually have sharp edges, so we'll use fillet to create more rounded corners like this. The next step is to use polygon to divide this large courtyard into different smaller spaces, such as a garden with a pool, a sports field, and a communication platform. Then use the fillet curve to create rounded corners. This may seem time-consuming, and you can save your time in Grasshopper. Then we can decide the size of hexagon according to different functions. The next step is to add more details to the site. This time we can come up with precedents where these different spaces basically have different materials for pavements, and even the same green land will be filled with different paths. Let us add more layers and change their layer color. Use the inner surface to fill the area with wood, and then use the Ctrl T to do the trim work. I personally prefer to use the interpolate curve to draw curves. It is easier to control the curvature. You can use the right click to stop or repeat the command. I find that many architectural students finish drawing with only a line, separating water and grass, but this is not enough. In order to add more details for rendering and making a master plan, we need to add more curves to divide different plant area. What's more, we can use the extruded surface to make a slope here. Unlike gardens, we can use gumbos to enlarge the hexagon to divide the plot or offset curve to create the boundary. When we need to add a path in the garden, we can draw several circles with the circle command first, and then use the array along curve to make a random row. Since we don't know how many groups of circles we need here, we can preview it by adjusting the distance. In orientation, we can choose road-like to make them closer to the curve. Once we are done with all the line drawings, it's time to import the furniture. It is a good idea to have a folder on your computer to store the furniture that you downloaded each time in order to make a model. Then the only thing is import them and rotate them. Copy paste. The last step is the tree. If it is for diagramming, you can use a severe with a column instead. But if you still have to render it, you'd better use block to turn it into a block tree that can be transformed uniformly at the same time. Well, this is all my drawing process with Rhino. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below the video. You can also subscribe me for more upcoming videos. See you next time. Bye.